And I called John up and I said, what do you think about that? He says, it's bullshit. They're lying to you. And now is a really good friend. A rich dad is a fellow Hawaiian from Hawaii, a neighbor in Hawaii. John comes from the dark side because he and Nancy Pelosi are best friends. They're liberal. I'm only kidding. But one of the reasons I say he comes to the dark side is we play rugby together, and then I found out he's a financial planner, and I couldn't talk to him anymore. But he's come back from the dead, from the dark side. He now understands that he's going to share how his way of making money is not what the financial planners say. So John is the best because I listen to all these financial planner shows, pitch. I won't mention their names. I just call John and say, yes, we do it differently. We don't make money unless the client makes money because we're fiduciary. And I called John up and I said, what do you think about that? He says, it's bullshit. They're lying to you. Because the reason John understands the dark side is that's where he came from. And that's why he moved out of it. So what's the name of your book there, John?
Thanks, Robert and Kim. It's great to be on the show again. It's the top 10 reasons the rich go broke.
Because they listen to financial planners.
and what I love about your book, John, is not for rich people necessarily. It's the lessons that people, why they went broke and why you don't have to go broke, no matter how much money you have.
Yeah, exactly, Kim. I mean, I've learned through you guys, learning from people's successes is smart, but learning from people's mistakes is genius. And I think that's where people go wrong, and they don't learn from their mistakes. And that's what the book is all about. It's 10 stories of people that I knew that had everything and then lost it all. And to your point, one of the key stories is I trusted my financial advisor. That didn't go well. That story did not end well. But
and the sad thing is, this financial advisor is a stud in Hawaii. I mean, he's smart.
He was until he hung himself. Wow. Literally, he hung himself when he got caught. So yeah, it's a tragic story, and people just put all their faith in this advisor without any due diligence, any questions whatsoever. And it was just a horrible situation for the clients.
I learned that lesson very early on, years and years and years ago, when Robert and I were just starting out, and there was a stockbroker, and he said, "Oh, you got to buy Coca-Cola. Got to buy Coca-Cola." And we're like, "Okay, we'll buy Coca-Cola." We didn't know much about stocks at all. And then I just had a gut feel that it's time to get out. And so I called him up. I said, "We want to sell. Let's sell." "No, don't sell. Don't sell." I'm like, "Yeah, we want to sell. It looks good." "Yeah, no. Hold. It's going to go higher. It's going to go higher." Well, of course it didn't. And we lost money. And that I had trusted his advice instead of trusting myself. More importantly than trusting myself, doing my homework and doing getting educated.
So John, when this one they advertise every night on Fox. And they say, we're a fiduciary. We don't make money unless our clients do. Are they lying or telling the truth?
Well, it's a very hazy message. It's very opaque in how they're describing that. Bottom line, it's total BS. There is...
It's not surprising to me that you would be very familiar with the words haze and opaque, John.
We'll get into the 401k discussion in a minute. I got a new title for your second book. It's called Sorry, I Was Wrong. Anyway. Anyway, this idea that they do things differently and, we're fiduciaries, therefore we're holier than now, couldn't be more dangerous information sharing to the client. I mean, this whole fiduciary thing is an absolute myth, and it's misleading people to commit all their hard-earned money with somebody just because they're a fiduciary.
What does that mean, a fiduciary?
It means that the financial advisor is held to a higher standard. They're working in their client's best interest versus a non-fiduciary who's working who's offering advice that's suitable. Now, certainly best interest sounds much better than suitable. But when you boil it down, all you're really talking about is your ability to sue the advisor versus not. I can tell you, I can make a very strong argument that you are in much better and safer hands with a non-fiduciary than you are a fiduciary. Oh. And I'm not saying one is bad or the other. It really depends on the advisor. But there is far more oversight and regulatory compliance with a non-fiduciary then there is a fiduciary. Anyone could open up their an investment advisory firm and be a fiduciary. I mean, it's really that easy. And just to sum it up, Bernie Madoff, the biggest scandal in, I think, the history of the world was a fiduciary. So this term fiduciary is it's a marketing pitch by a lot of advisors, really.
People say get a 401k. That's the appropriate vehicle for most people if they have no financial education. Would you agree with that?
No, I agree. And there are cases, and we'll talk about this after the break, where a 401k, a certain type of 401k actually makes sense for stock investing from a tax standpoint. So we'll talk about that when we come back.
Okay. So
wait a minute. Did I hear that correctly? That's going. That video clip's going on my website.
Just don't edit that down, John. Make sure it's period.
I didn't hear that part.
I wrote this book here. It's called "Who Stole My Pension?" because it's a whole nother wild card sitting out there. Is because those of you with pensions, Wall Street might be putting their hands in it and taking out of there. I think the biggest question of all is this, because most people they start out, they go to their company and say, you want a 401k? I mean, I was asked that. I said, no. So John, what's
your argument for the 401k, John?
I'm Rocky Balboa in the 10th round against Apollo Creed.
John, let me ask this real simple question. Let's say you start working for a company. They say, you want a 401k. Would you take it or not?
In a heartbeat.
You would.
Why?
Would you count on it? Would you count on it in 45 years?
Yeah, I would. And here's why. And by the way,
count on a 401k.
This is the debate here. Let's hear the debate. Let me hear the argument for. Come on, let's hear the argument for. Go ahead, John.
And here's why. So, and you mentioned your book, Who Stole My Pension? That's a perfect argument for a 401k. A pension sounds great. Yeah, work 35 years, work your tail off for us. And in the end, we're going to give you 80% of your salary. We'll hope to give you 80% of your salary for the rest of your life. Well, that all sounds great on paper, but look at what's going on today. And your book talks about it brilliantly with Ted Siddell. These pensions are way underfunded and they're being contested in court and they're winning against these employees. And these employees that have worked their entire life are seeing their pensions cut by 50%. I mean, just ask the iron workers in Philadelphia, I believe. I mean, they just saw their pensions cut. I think you had a guest on from UPS who's seen a 50% reduction in his pension. So this idea that pensions are great is just a ruse. And by the way, that pension income you're getting on a monthly basis is taxed at ordinary income rates, the tax rates. Tom can tell you that. And I agree with everybody. Taxes are not going down. They're going up, given all this spending that's happened and will happen in the future. Taxes will have to go up. But I will tell you, if an employer is going to match my contribution for up to 4% or 6%, I'm definitely going to take that and contribute up to that. Then I would look at a Roth. Absolutely. I love Roths. The problem with Roths is that you're limited in how much you can contribute to a Roth. A Roth allows up to 7,000, Tom, or 8,000 now, whereas a 401k is up to 17,000. And here's the math. Here's why and by the way, 401ks are not the be all end all by any stretch. But for most people that are employees and will be employees for the rest of their life, they are great, because without a 401k today, you know what the retirement savings in America would be? Goose egg. There would be no retirement savings. The average balance in a 401k is 100,000, the median 70. The only reason it's not higher is because most people are not contributing to the 401k, and those that do contribute don't even invest that money. It sits in a money market, a cash account. But here's the math. You put $15,000 into a 401k or any retirement vehicle or any vehicle and earn 8% annually, you're looking at $1.8 million in 30 years. That's just
like a financial planner.
8% annually.
You sound like a financial planner.
I am a financial planner, and I'm just doing the math.
Andy,
I'd
go
rather
ahead.
have $1.8 million in my account than the hope that
you're assuming an 8% return.
Well, the market over time.
Don't give me this average bullshit.
Done 10%. If you put
Go ahead, Andy. Let me hear you.
Over the last 100 years, you'd have an average return of 10%. I'm using 8% to be considered. Let's use 7%.
Let me hear the counter, Andy. Go ahead.
Well, if we want to talk about facts for a minute, look, if Robert holds up his chart, there's an ESBI. and pensions and 401ks are E-deals. So your choice is really, what quadrant do I want to operate from? So I'm no fan of the pensions, and I would never take a podium to debate for pensions because they're robbed from Wall Street. They're underfunded. The companies often rated.
This pension here. These are defined benefits.
They suck. The debate is which sucks worse, and the level of suckery is very competitive between the two. Where I have a problem with the 1.8 million, dream world. If we want to stop smoking Colorado grade marijuana for a minute, just look at the facts. Look, just type in how America saves Vanguard. Just Google that, how America saves. Now there's about 4 trillion in the United States in defined contribution programs, and Vanguard's got 1.4 trillion of that money. So that's a pretty decent sampling, 1.4 trillion. And if you look at 2020, which is 2019, the highest the market was, right? Big high market, best 10-year run, better than that average we talked about, right? You'll find that people between 55 and 65 got about 70 grand. That's a long way from 1.8 million. And what they'll do is they'll blame you. They'll say, well, you didn't save enough. You didn't put in enough. You didn't make enough contribution. Well, I'll just say this. The 401k is fundamentally flawed in that it was never designed. It's like trying to take a tricycle and fly to the moon. It was never designed to get you to the moon. There was never a think tank of smart women and men that got together and said, what's a better way? Conall Barber in New York wanted to do some favors for his buddies at Xerox and Kodak and get them a tax benefit. 2 years later, Ted Bennett says, oh my gosh, we can shed the responsibility of this from the corporations. Mutual fund said, my gosh, we can have automatic payments coming in. It's called assets under management. We can have them on autopilot buying our products before they even get their freaking paycheck. And next thing you know, you got a destruction of any idea of investing and saving and the biggest freaking thing wrong with it, and this is what pisses me off the very most, is they're telling people they can be millionaires without financial education. And that's baloney. I don't know. You find me one person who was a peasant and got rich from more 401k and bring them on this program, because they're not there.
I'll bring plenty of people on this program that have made $1 million in their 401k.
Yeah, if they're already making 500.
I'll show you all kinds of people that have made. Look, I get it. The 401k was never designed to be the sole retirement vehicle.
Bingo. Not even
close. It was never designed. But that's all we have. Pensions are disappearing. So what's the answer? Look, Social Security doesn't work.
There's no argument there. Look, I'll concede. If you want to be an E,
your only solution is universal basic income. That's what you're telling me. I'm waiting for a solution. I don't know the solution. You can say financial education all day long.
No. That's
people know they need to eat better and diet, but they don't do it.
Wait. Hold on, you guys. Wait. This is not Peter Schiff versus
Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay. I mean, the point here is this. Both John and Andy are in paper assets. Kim and I are not. And we kick ass without 401ks, without IRAs. We don't have any of that garbage.
Very true.
And that's because we're on this side. And that's why this is a 4-part tax series. And Andy wrote the book 401 Chaos. Now, so you're in paper, John's in paper, Kim and I are not. Tom, any comments on what, because you're familiar with what Andy does and John does. How are they minimizing taxes?
Well, yeah. So what John's doing is postponing taxes to a later year. So, both John and Andy are right to a degree in that it does presume that you're going to, only way you get a real tax benefit on a 401k is if you retire poor. I've run those numbers 100 times. And now, what we haven't discussed is there's a very important word that we haven't brought up, and that's the word qualified. And a 401k, a pension plan, these are all RRSP, super, they're all called qualified plans, which what you can do is substitute qualified for government run or government ruling plans. Okay, so the government is deciding how you invest, how much you invest, when you invest, how much you can put in. John, you said it, how much you can put in. The government decides when you can take it out, how much money you can take out, when you have to take it out. The government decides everything about a qualified plan. What you guys do differently, Robert and Kim, is you don't invest in a qualified plan. You invest in a non-qualified plan. And non-qualified means I can do whatever I want. I can decide when I put the money in, how much money I put in, what I can invest in, what my tax consequences are. I can decide all of that, and I can do it way better than a qualified plan.
John, how long have you been trading?
Probably going on 3 years now. I'm using a very simple strategy that both Andy and I agree on. And by the way, I will fully, I can't say enough about Andy's options course. It's amazing. I use a very simple strategy. I look at it once a week, and it's generating nice cash flow in my retirement accounts, as my 90 soon to be 91-year-old dad is. So yeah, it can be, anyone can do it.
Let me say it again. There's 4 asset classes: businesses, real estate, paper, and commodities. And John and Andy are pros inside paper. Kim and I are not. Yeah, John, will you make money when the markets crash? And they will.
Absolutely. There are always opportunities to make money when the market crashes. Absolutely.
Right.
Will a 401k person make money when the market crashes?
No, their portfolio will go down as the market goes down. Absolutely.
That's my concern. So final words, Tom, real quick on taxes, your favorite subject.
I mean, I love the discussion because it's all about education. And the more we only reduce our taxes when we get educated. We cannot, to take the simple way out and say, well, I'm just going to put money into a 401k. That's ignoring reality that there are so many other options that you can take advantage of if you get the financial education.